Hello, Holistic Chamber of Commerce family. Welcome to today's Member Spotlight. And I'm so excited to be having a conversation with Lloyd Boucher because he's going to talk about how to reduce our taxes for life. And this is such a practical conversation, a conversation that we all need to be having around our business. Before Lloyd gets started, I just want to briefly introduce him. He has a tax forensics and accounting service firm and aims to reduce taxes for the lifetime of the individual, the small business owner, and or the investor. He is a trusted advisor, good problem solver, and is driven to thoroughly examine what needs to be revamped, revised, modified, or fixed when it comes to your business accounting. Welcome, Lloyd.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Laura, for inviting me to share my many years of experience, life experience, in helping entrepreneurs, individuals, and investors really look at taxes on a different light. It's a healthy way of looking at taxes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's start off. I'm curious, why did you get into like accounting and tax forensics to begin with?
Well, I used to be in the software engineering invention field in the United States for over 21 years, and I have patents there with my name on it when it comes to software technology. But I mostly worked with the startup companies, so long hours, 7 days a week. And even during my vacation, because I supervised a team of engineers locally in the US and some from overseas, even during vacation, my boss would call me just to help resolve a problem. And I became so addictive with the work that it had a negative impact on my family relationships. Well, I was at home, but I was absent. So those kind of scenarios. And then one day, it just occurred to me, and the thought came to my mind that uh, I was looking for a woman to marry that had strong family values, so that when we have our own children, the children would grow up in an environment that's healthy for the family and connected. Because growing up, I didn't have that. So I longed for that. And then so one day, and as I was, and my outlet from those 7 day of work and long hours a day was booze, alcohol, Friday night, Saturday night. So and that would calm me down and make me sleep. Without that, I couldn't sleep. The mind was so active. So one night I was watching a PBS, Public Broadcasting Service. Um, Late at night, past midnight, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they talked about passive income, talked about real estate investment. And to my mind, click, that is it. I don't have to work a lot. I can just get this passive income. And my wife, she's a registered nurse in California. She has 30 days of vacation. I can pick the months I want to go on vacation with my wife. Solution, right? Problem solutions. Okay, I started it back in the second half of 2007. You know what happened back then? The real estate market began to crash. So I bought 6 duplex rental properties in Memphis, Tennessee. It was so cheap back then. And my Wells Fargo banker kept on saying, yeah, you can take your home equity from your home. I said, you're crazy. I'm kind of like 80% loan to value. You want to take more? Yes, you can take 50K. So use that 50K. So I did, right? So that was my retirement plan, 6 rental properties. So first 6 months going into 2008, I had to let go of my property manager. My reasoning was, I need to find someone better than this. So I got one. And for the first 3 months after letting my property manager go, income was good, but the economy was so bad. People were getting laid off. There's nothing you can do, right? So for the next 2 years, I had to use my personal salary just to pay the mortgage. So no family vacation, nothing, right? Everyone put on hold. But then it became so much, and I woke up and I said, you know what, this is untenable. This is just untenable. I cannot continue to do this. But the switch for me going into the accounting and tax savings and tax forensics, the first year of me going to a CPA to file my tax return for those rental properties, The fee was $2,800. So my calculating mind says, wait a minute, negative cash flow, another 10 to 800 bucks. No way. And then I found out I need to learn bookkeeping myself. I need to learn tax preparation just for my rental properties. I found one, Rancho Santiago College in Santa Ana. They had a 6 month course of small business bookkeeping. I learned it at night. And then during the middle of the course, our class had a visit from an IRS representative. That IRS representative said, the course you're taking, when you finish it, if you want to, class, you can prepare taxes for a living. Cling! No more 2,800. No more 2,800, right? So that's how it started. So I just started learning the business, but I did that part-time after my long hours, long day work with preparing taxes. And then I started with friends and family. And then my calculating mind started to go, my gosh, I need an army. I need an army of individual taxpayers to match my salary. See, the business mindset did not kick in yet, right?
Mhm.
So over time, and then I learned about what else can you do? Well, prepare taxes for business owners, prepare taxes for investors. And that's how I was able to get out of, I no longer need an army of clients. I just need people who have interest in their business and in their investments and love making money, but are hurting so much because they don't know there's an option for them to control their taxes for life and
Mhm.
beyond.
I appreciate you sharing that because before we hopped on here, I was saying I love having this conversation because many of these conversations I'm talking to holistic practitioners, but you are a conventional business that has a very important service that any business owner needs to understand. However, you already have that mentality. I mean, you kind of got into this because of work-life balance, of
Mhm.
understanding it wasn't healthy. So you have the holistic values and mindset, but you are here with us as a more conventional business service, which we need. And so I'm just so grateful that you are part of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate that so much. All right.
Can you excuse me, Laura? Oh,
Yes.
a minute. Alexa, stop. That's
That's funny. How dare she interfere in our conversation here, right?
yeah.
How funny. All right. So why is business taxes and accounting, why is it so important?
Well, it's so important because about 90% or more of our federal tax code was created for the benefit of business owners and investors. All the tax deductions, all the tax credits are there for you, the business owner and investors. So why are large corporations get paying very small corporate tax, for example, sometimes zero? They are using the same tax code. There's only one tax code. So if we know how to use them effectively in our businesses and investments, then you can carve out, right? It just move. It's the same money, right? Money going out of your pocket, just going a lot into the tax coffers. We can move that out just by following the tax code. And another thing that I've found since being in this business in 2008, the more income you make, the more tax code becomes suddenly available, right? So no more hiding money under the pillows. Just report all that income. Then we can utilize specific tax code to lower those taxes for your benefit.
Mhm. I'm a firm believer that, I get like some people want to do everything themselves to save money. But there comes a point where, unless you are an expert and understand all the little nuances like you do, you could be losing money by trying to, do this yourself. I mean, taxes and accounting. I feel like this is a really essential business to really hand over to an expert that knows the nuances and the intricacies and like the little ins and outs. So definitely so important to have something like this to save money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to add to that.
Okay.
It is in our best interest as business owners, investors, really to have positive cash flow. So that means we have to find, and this is what we do for our business owner clients, not only taxation, but operating expenses, right? So how can we reduce operating expenses? There are some operating expenses that it makes sense you look for competitive pricing. But there are some operating expenses where laws are tied behind it. If you make a mistake, it's going to cost you even more than the tax bill. It's going to cost you even more than paying that professional to handle your tax and accounting, right? If you make a mistake on preparing your tax return because you don't know how the recent tax law changed and you just click those things in specific cheap tax software you find online, there's nothing problem with that. It can cost you more than the tax that you should have paid, right? One of the dangers there is a 25% penalty on the taxes because you made a mistake in the bullet choice that you pick on that software that you are using. So very, very dangerous. So there's this saying, a pound wise, something like that, a pound foolish, something, right? So we got to be careful about where is the best way to put money to delegate this to someone so that I can focus on making money the way that I'm joyful doing it, right? You need to have a partner. You have to go out. Don't do it yourself. It can cost you a lot of money. You don't want to stop your business because you have to answer an IRS or franchise tax board call, right? Every time you're not making money, you're losing money.
Absolutely. And I have no idea why people would want to DIY this. I mean, I look at spreadsheets and numbers and, my expenses, and it's like my eyes just glaze over, and oh my gosh, I'd rather be like teaching a yoga class or, doing a workshop,
Yeah.
just like, please don't make me do accounting. So I can totally relate.
Yeah.
What else do we need to know? What are some other, little tips that you have for us?
Also, the other little tips, okay, let's say if you're doing your own bookkeeping, right? Did you know that the IRS requires corroborating and substantiating documents? So the IRS and Franchise Tax Board, these are accounting people. So they need proof. So let's say you claim your mileage expense, right? Because now we are out and about. The previous stay at home is home now. Let's say you claim mileage expenses, either actual or mileage expense on your vehicle, and you get audited. You know what the IRS will ask? Where's your mileage log?
And how many people keep a mileage log?
Yeah. So what there's many now apps now. There are many mileage apps tools that you can plug into your in your phone app, right? That keeps on running. That's one way to protect yourself. So another thing is receipts. When we go out and meet people, maybe lunch, maybe networking, business, right? And then the IRS asks you, okay, where's the receipt? You're claiming a meals expense for this on this date. Show us your receipts. So you show the IRS your receipt and you don't have any notation on it, right? The receipt will have the date, the amount, so you're covered. What was the business purpose? Who did you talk to? What was the context of conversation? This is just very small notes you can write at the back of a receipt that can remind you, right? So corroborating, receipt, substantiating, what's the business purpose? So you have to have always, and many bookkeeping software right now, you can attach pictures or scanned versions of receipts. You always have to attach this. So when you print plus those receipt inks, right, they fade away. So just scan them, attach them to your bookkeeping when you run your profit and loss statements. When you are called by the IRS, print those. Yeah, you have to print those. They're not gonna look at electronic stuff for you. You have to print it and bring them. But better yet, if you are called to be present with the meeting with the IRS and Franchise Tax Board, don't do it. Have someone who has experience talking with the IRS and Franchise Tax Board in the language that they understand, because these people who we pay to audit us, they will ask certain questions, and if you don't answer specific words, then they will assume you don't have that claim for deduction. So be very careful.
Yeah, it's a whole language in
It
itself,
is.
accounting and finances and money. And again, if you aren't knowledgeable and, they're asking you questions and you don't even understand what they're saying, it is a recipe for disaster. So absolutely, I
Right. Plus sometimes when we talk to these people whom we pay to audit us, right? And you don't know what they answer. And then you panic and you keep on pulling answers from all over the place. And then suddenly the feeling of that person you're asking your question, if that person thinks that you are being untruthful or lying, they can even go back many years, look at your tax transcripts and audit you, right? So if you find yourself, if you really want to be in the presence of tax auditors, don't give them more than what they are asking for. Don't answer questions outside of the context of why they called you in. Those are some of the tips we can give you.
Hmm. Give us your 2 cents about, since we are the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and most of our members use alternative, treatment modalities for medical issues. What is your 2 cents about, taxes and accounting
Mm,
for out of pocket, like medical expenses, because insurance doesn't always cover all of these alternative
right.
treatments?
Plus insurance will give you medicine on top of the medicine. Suddenly your head hurt. You take that medicine. Suddenly your eye bulges. Then you take it. Right.
And your arm falls off.
So yeah. So the qualified medical expenses deduction allowed by the IRS code. These were designed, I think, with the pharmaceutical industry slight, that it needs a doctor's prescription, right? Without a doctor's prescription, then if you get audited and your client has medical expense deduction, they're gonna deny that. But interesting, over the counter drugs, right? So I think to do with drugs. But if you look at the healing, and me and my wife, we started doing holistic things, right? So that Tustin Chamber of Holistic Chamber of Commerce, we learned to apply apple cider and raw honey in our diet, and then we're seeing a lot of improvements in our health. So you have this pharmaceutical world that allows medical deduction, right? But the holistic world, why is it not? If the results of using natural ingredients gives us healthy body without my eyes bulging out, right? Why is there no deductions for those? Well, there has been a trend already that people are looking at the Eastern or traditional medicine using food, all right, just natural ingredients. There's got to be a medical practitioner out there, schooled in the traditional Western way, who started to talk or is advising their clients. Try this. You know, you're just taking 30 medicine. Try this and we'll cut down your medicine to 10. Those are the best doctors to partner with. And what you can ask them is, can you write a prescription without you losing your license that says these are the recommended options for maintaining your health or controlling your A1C or controlling your cholesterol, right? That heart problem that you have, right? It may list some pharmaceutical drugs, but it also may list health changes, diet changes, supplements. Now you have a prescription from a medical doctor, right? With that prescription, and if that doctor is a believer because he or she has seen this in this lifetime with their family members, loved one, then that's a very good doctor to for that client of yours to say, can you go and seek that help, ask a prescription and see what it says. Because if it's written in a prescription, that is proof. That's corroborating and substantiating document. The other thing, if you have business owner clients who are looking for ways using the tax code, right, to reduce their business taxes, and they have enough space in their facility. So if you health practitioner also are into exercise, yoga, whatever things, then you can talk. You cannot advise them, just give them suggestions. What if you open some kind of a gym, right, in your place of business? Because that gym is allowed by tax law for business tax deduction. So now that you have a gym, right, because you're spending money to maintain that gym, you might have equipment, you are paying for electricity. Now you have some drinks. Now you have some supplements, right? Because for the benefit of your employees, it is your best interest for your employees to be healthy without their
Interesting.
eyes bulging out while they're typing on the computer.
That is so interesting. So it's both perspectives as a user of services to make sure you have documentation, but also as a business owner, you can also have, that wellness area in your office and write it off on taxes.
That is
That
right.
that's so
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
Right. But the
Um,
thing is, there's specific naming for that facility, right?
mhm.
It's a wellness, yes, but it's a gym.
Right. 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 And Jim's okay is different than
A
wellness.
gym, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
technical terms, right?
yeah. All right. So we have, we're kind of at the end of our time here, but I just want to ask you real quick. I'm guessing you're in California based on what you were
Yeah.
saying, where you went to school. Are you only allowed to work with people in California, or can you advise people all across the US?
So I am an enrolled agent. It's the only federally licensed professional designation when it comes to tax law. It's awarded by the US Department of Treasury. So anyone under the purview of federal tax law, it can be individuals, nonprofits, or for-profit businesses anywhere in the United States, territories, Commonwealth, and as long as they're
Perfect.
under federal law, we're able to serve them.
Perfect, perfect. Because I know some licenses are restricted to like states. I know with like my mental health license, I'm restricted to Florida. But this is fantastic. So I put your contact information in the chat here. So please, if you are watching this and you need some tax advice, you need an accountant, please reach out to Lloyd, have a conversation with him, because just in these few minutes here, I've learned so much. And he just kind of, really touched on the importance of really having control of your finances and making sure that an expert, helps you to manage this. So thank you so much, Lloyd, for being here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Welcome. I created a presentation, but I think I'm just going to send you that, Laura, a PDF link so people can read that. So that's what I can give to everyone.
Okay, I'll tell you how you can attach it here after we're done. I'll tell you how you can add it to the comments so that people can go back and actually get that. Okay.
Okay. I'm saving it to a PDF so I can have access to that thing.
All right.
All right.
Is this video going to be on the page? I don't understand what page. It will be on the Holistic Chamber Facebook page and in the members only group. So yes, you'll be able to see the whole video. Once we are done here, it will post as a replay. All right. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.